let's start this off with a rest in peace to Anthony Salvador. Yo, this is crazy, bro. Cause we knew Tay-K when he first dropped, you know, for the race, and I was like, yo, this song is heat. I don't care what nobody says. Oh my God, keep running, keep running. Fingers throwing him up like he had arthritis. I remember when Tay-K first dropped this, we were like, yo, this is heat, you know, as a hip hop fan.
But I ain't been that case, bitch, I did the race. Beat it up, where I not shorty face. Eli Blast, cricket phone.
But then when you really start looking into the cases, I seen everybody that was actually affected by it was disgusting, bro. I ain't even gonna hold, bro. I ain't even gonna hold. Being somebody that always has cameras on me, you know, and just loves to shoot, and if a rapper was to hit me up, like, yo, let's work on this project together, I'll be amped. I'll be like, yo, this is dope, you know. We always up here working on projects and stuff like that. But the way that they try to set this kid up for his equipment, nah, I could never stand with that. And somebody that does, again, content, photography myself, and I know how much I pay for my equipment and how much I love my cameras and all that. Yo, and the wild part about all this is that they showed a CCTV, right, in the court of everything that happened with Tay-K and Anthony Salvador, and he's watching it like it's his first time seeing it. Like, he's surprised, like that's not him in the camera. I know what the hood dudes always say, I don't wish jail or death on nobody. Well, thank God I'm not a hood dude and I went to college, because this nigga deserve 100 years in prison. If this is true, man, this is disgusting. Yo, this is crazy. It broke my heart, because I could just think about a kid, you know, that worked a lot, worked hard for his camera, worked hard for his equipment, and then somebody comes out of nowhere and sets you up like, yo, let's go work on this project. And when you get there, it's a lit. So to the channel, guys, we're on that road to 10,000 subscribers. We will be doing a giveaway in this channel for some streetwear. This right here, let me tell you right now, is not gonna be no Tay-K merch. If I haven't seen this footage, let's jump right into this. But pay attention to Tay-K's face. Just pay attention to him. He look like he's watching this for the first time. And his lawyer, look at his lawyer. His lawyer's like, weep. But he don't want to say it because that he still, you know, need to wait for that check to come.
Open up Civilian North 3.
Yo, let me know if I'm correct. It's kind of blurry, but I believe that's Tay-K right there, right? The first dude that walked out.
My first time seeing it.
And I did hear the story of they were going through his bag and wallets and everything that they stole because he was in the back seat. So the layout of the car that I heard was his ex-girlfriend was the driver. I believe Tay-K was in the passenger seat. His boy was in the back seat. Anthony jumps into the back seat. They drive off. When they drive off, they're trying to take his backpack away from him. His backpack's including his wallet inside, his camera equipment. He's fighting them, not trying to let it go. Eventually, they push him out the car, get him out the car. They go through all his stuff, dollars in the wallet, and they were mad about that, which is, again, remember, these dudes already committed a crime previously when trying to rob the plug, and that went terribly wrong. So this is just yet again another crash out. Tay-K's already in prison, guilty for like 50-something years. So if he's guilty for this one as well, he's already doing 50-something years. So if he gets guilty for this as well, let's just say he's doing this life and the afterlife in prison. There's not even enough years in jail for him to do it. And a lot of the information we heard of, like the car layout where everyone was sitting, again, his girl's the driver, him in the passenger, his boy in the back, all that information that we heard was from his ex-girlfriend that ends up taking the stand. I'm not mad at her. Take that stand, girl. If you had nothing to do with this, take that stand. Because this right here, senseless crime with a kid that was trying to, just put in work and just trying to get content, you don't take advantage. I'm not gonna lie, if you guys could hear this, and I'm not going against what he did, hear this. In a situation like that, if you could leave with your life, remember, you could always buy another camera. Remember, you could always get back later when you were at home field advantage. Right there, they got you at home field advantage. Get out of here. We have to see his girl take the stand and really give us the details of what happened inside the vehicle. Yo, so we just saw that CCTV where you see it looks like Tay-K getting out the vehicle, and then the female driver who we're looking at here, who was his ex-girlfriend at the time. The state is currently trying to prove that they tried to rob the photographer after the whole windshield incident, after everything happened, because allegedly, like she told us, fighting in the backseat, not trying to give up his camera. Because as we've heard in this story, he was fighting in the backseat, not trying to give up his camera. They open the door and they start trying to push him out, and then he tries to get back in the car, which I'm not going to speak against his decisions that day, but sometimes kids, it's not working. They push him out the vehicle. He jumps on the windshield, starts kicking the windshield, everything, and he pops him at a parking lot for Chick-fil-A on a Sunday. They don't open on a Sunday. Then I guess they drive off, and then that's when they start looking through the bags to see what they got from the kid inside the car, what actually happened that night.
And so after you picked up Mark Salvador, where did you guys go?
He asked us if we could reschedule for the day and if we can give him a ride to North Star. So I agreed and I said, okay, that's fine.
Okay. And so you were still going to give him a ride to North Star Mall?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so on the way to North Star Mall, what happened?
We hit the light at McCullough, and Taymor took out his gun and pointed it at Mark and asked for his bag. Mark refused to give him the bag, so they all started hitting him, and Taymor was hitting him with the gun, and the whole time I didn't look back, but when I did, I saw his face, and I started telling them to let him go, and I just kept screaming, let him go. And Jalen opened the door and started pushing him out. And he was fighting to get back in the car. And then I didn't let him in the car. So he went around the car and he jumped on the hood. And then the light turned green.
Okay. I'm going to stop you right there, okay?
Okay.
So when you all were at the light on McCullough, you said Taymor produced his gun, correct?
Yes.
And who did Taymor have the gun pointed at?
Mark.
And what was Taymor saying when he had the gun pointed at Mark?
To give him his bag.
And so once the light turned green, what happened?
He pointed the gun at me and told me to start driving. So I started driving. I didn't know where to go, so I turned into the first place that I saw, which was the Chick-fil-A. Once I turned into the Chick-fil-A, he kept yelling at me to get him off the car. I didn't know how to, so I was just going back and forth really quickly. And then Mark kicked the windshield, and Tay-K opened the door and shot him.
Not only super sad seeing her cry and going through all that stress, knowing the mental trauma of not only having to testify against someone that you were in a relationship with and you're on that stand looking at them. Even for Tay-K is probably crazy. You're like, you're in and is it really worth it? Yeah, you might be a ride or die, you ready to do 150 years, but you got 4 other people in the car, 3 other people in the car. Some might. You've seen in the last trial that he went through, some did. And we also saw in the trial with the 2 girls, they all did it. It's like, sometimes you gotta keep shit in mind, bro. Let's see this quick news clip and then we out it.
Passion and fatally shot for fighting to get it back. That's how the prosecution describes what happened to Mark Anthony Salvador back in April of 2017.
It is what we heard on the first day of the murder trial for Texas rapper Tay-K. His real name is Taymor McIntyre, and he was 16 when he was accused of killing Salvador. Erica Hernandez covering this for us, and she joins us now from the Bexar County Justice Center. So, Erica, how did each side lay out their case here on day one?
Yeah, Myra, so for the state, they say Mark Anthony Salvador was allegedly attacked by Taymor McIntyre and his friends as they were trying to steal his photography gear. Vince says that there will be key eyewitness testimony that will be inconsistent and that they have evidence that will dispute the state's entire case.
How do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honor.
It's been more than 7 years since Taymor McIntyre was arrested and later charged with the capital murder of 20-year-old Mark Anthony Salvador. Salvador fatally shot in a Chick-fil-A parking lot right across from North Star Mall after allegedly having his camera equipment stolen.
He was an up-and-coming rapper that contacted Mark about this photo shoot.
Prosecutor Jason Garahan says inside the vehicle with McIntyre were 3 other people, and at some point they demanded Salvador's backpack.
This man right over here pulled out a gun and turned around and started hitting with fist and also with the gun, telling him, "Give me your stuff, give me your stuff."
Salvador, Garahan says, was able to get out of the vehicle and got on top of the car asking for his backpack. That is when he says McIntyre got out.
You'll see that passenger door open up, the front passenger door open up, where this man over here was sitting with that gun. He leans out, he shoots Mark through the shoulder.
The defense says all the people in the vehicle will testify about what happened, but their testimony is not consistent, and there was never any evidence Salvador even had camera equipment with him.
You'll hear testimony from one of the cooperating co-defendants, one of the accomplices, that the photo shoot that he just described had been called off, and that they were just giving this guy a ride. There's no camera recovered in this case.
The defense even implying they have ballistic evidence that doesn't match what the state has.
This conflicting evidence, it's worth the wait.
That's crazy because I think she did say that in the beginning of her testimony that he asked if the photo shoot could be rescheduled, get a ride to the mall, which she said yeah. So did they just rob him for his wallet to see what he had? But at that point, bro, if you killed this guy and really made it off for like $10, it's like, nah, that's insane to me. That's insane. No camera was also found at all in this case.
Now, testimony is still ongoing right now. You can watch it live. We are live streaming this trial on all our digital platforms. Coming up at 6, we'll have more on what this testimony that we heard from the first eyewitnesses is all about. Live at the...
Guys, remember, this is still all alleged. Until they slam that down and say guilty on Tay-K, all alleged. But don't forget, he is facing 50 years for another trial that he was found guilty in. And if he's found guilty in this one as well, I don't think he would ever see anything past them bars in his entire life. To think about acting like this at the age of 16 is crazy. You know what I was doing at 16? I was beating down cheap, bro. I was driving around a 350 in my dad's Hummer around the city, trying to one-hand dunk some females. Like, that's all I was thinking about. I was definitely not on this time. I was making clothes and doing photo shoots and stuff like that as well, which is crazy. Why I sided on the side of Mark Anthony, because knowing of being a content creator, knowing of going around with cameras and stuff like that, I was even creating streetwear clothes. To get set up like this is disgusting. But to jump on the whip and do the most, that's also absurd to me. It's like, bro, nobody had to act over their property.
And do you work currently?
No, ma'am. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay, and why are you here today? Turn you back to that day, April 23rd, 2017. Do you recall you were with that day?
Yes, ma'am. I was with family members. I was with my tios, my husband, and my grandma.
And so, what's your grandma's name?
Janie Reyes.
Okay, and what are your tios' names?
Caballero and Ernest Reyes. Raul Quintero.
Your Honor, a juror has raised their hand.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. So here's the thing. As jurors, you're not allowed to act. No. It's fine. Sometimes, we don't know. So jurors, you're not allowed to ask questions. If you're not allowed to hear what a witness is saying, raise your hand and let us know. But the state and the defense, they are the persons who will be asking the questions. And if there's a question that's to have been asked, you will just have to go with the questions that both sides have.
What's been marked as state's exhibits. Have you seen these photos before?
Yes, ma'am.
And are they a fair and accurate depiction of the objects that are contained within on the day of the offense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, under offense or inspection, state offers states 1 and 2.
I am so sorry. I can barely hear what she's saying. What did she say?
And in state's exhibit number 2, can you tell me who's contained in that photo?
That is Paul. He was in the front, and that is my husband, Raul.
Okay, so just for clarity, in the front passenger seat, who was sitting there?
Paul.
Okay, and then in the back, directly behind that, who's sitting there?
It's Raul, and then me in the middle, and my daughter on my lap.
And at some point, did your attention turn to that vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, and why is that?
Because there was a altercation that was going on, and so we all turned to look what was going on. When I turned to look around, I did see McIntyre in the passenger side.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. Can we approach?
Yes.
And
Objection is sustained. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you disregard her answer with the name McIntyre in it. Does everyone understand? So you're to disregard the question, and you're to disregard the answer.
Your Honor, we would respectfully move for mistrial.
That will be denied. You may proceed.
so can you, without naming the person, can you describe what person in the front passenger seat looked like?
He was a black male.
The person that was driving the vehicle, do you recall what they looked
She was a white female with blonde hair.
And so when you turn around and you look in that black four-door, what did you observe going on in that black four-door?
There was a Mexican that was sitting in the back, getting beat up on, both over in the front and in the back.
So when you say the Mexican boy that was sitting in the back seat was being beat up on, was some...
Just the two guys, the black male in the front and then also the one in the back.
And did you see anything in the hands of the black male in the front?
Yes.
What did he have in his hands?
It was a handgun, a black handgun.
Where was
and
that?
he was also using it to hit him.
Used to strike the person in the back seat, is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay, and so the person in the back seat that was being struck, eventually what happened with that person?
He somehow ended up getting out of the vehicle, and we had thought that was it, but he ended up getting on top of the vehicle after.
Okay, and so when the light turned green, what did your car do?
We ended up taking the right that was right there because with the gun situation, we had my daughter, so we ended up turning to safety, and they ended up going straight.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Yo, that's crazy. Okay, so she was just an innocent bystander that saw everything that was going on. If you guys didn't notice, what happened was she said that she saw Tay-K himself in the passenger seat, since there's not, I guess, 100% way that you can prove. Not allowed to say name. She has to say, I saw a short black man that looks like he likes to wear turtlenecks to court. I didn't say a name in the passengers, but her story is aligning with what the shorty said, even though the state is going against it.
Can you see that okay up there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so you see where I'm pointing at, that's McCullough Avenue, correct?
Mhm.
And so where I'm pointing at right here, is that where your vehicle was stopped at the red light?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so earlier you said where the Mexican boy got on the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and
Yes, we had saw it taking a left that way, and we were coming from this side.
so you're right here, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you're saying you see that black come out through here and take the left, is that correct?
Yes, speeding off. Mhm.
Okay, and so once you see that, what do you and the people in your car do?
I mean, once we were at the gun shop, we were just like talking about it, and then passing the Chick-fil-A, we ended up seeing him rolling on the ground.
And when you say him rolling on the ground,
The Mexican
boy that was on the hood?
Yes.
Okay, and so when you see him rolling on the ground, then what do you do?
We Paul and Raul, when we ran to him.
And when you observed him, the Mexican boy that was laying in the Chick-fil-A parking lot, that's the same person that you observed on
Yes,
his
ma'am.
correct?
Mhm.
Okay, and so when you observed him, did you notice if he had any injuries?
He had a big bump on his forehead.
And did you make contact with officers on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did you provide a verbal statement to the officers on?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
I'm okay.
I just have a few questions for you. The first is, did you meet with the prosecutors at all in preparation for your testimony here today?
Like 2 weeks ago.
You met with the lawyers themselves or with the advocate, or do you remember?
With her.
With Ms. Galloway? Did you review anything in anticipation of your testimony?
Just everything that happened like, from the cameras.
Or parked out?
It was a good minute.
Okay.
If you'll state your name for the record and spell your last name, please.
By the individual that's driving the vehicle. And then do you see somebody in the backseat there?
Yes, his mom.
His mom. And what's her name?
Jamie Reyes.
And are you familiar with this map? In fact, have I shown you this map before? This intersection hasn't changed much since 2017.
Lady that was on the site that told me that my gas cap was open.
Gas cap was open?
Yes.
And so you're at a stoplight, so what did you do?
Well, I exited the vehicle and put the cap back on.
Where was the cap?
It was green for us to make a right to get out of that car sway that was behind us.
Well, let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
And without telling me exactly what she said, did the lady that had mentioned the gas cap to you, did she mention something else to you?
You checked
Yes.
hearsay confrontation.
All right, the answer is either yes or no. You're not allowed to state what a witness has said. Do you understand?
Yes.
So that question requires a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right.
And I think you answered the question if I'm correct, but
Yeah.
did she also mention something else to you? And tell the jury, like, what was her demeanor towards you when she was speaking to you about this?
Just very cautious.
Very what?
Cautious, like worried. Yes.
And then what did she say to you then?
Objection, hearsay confrontation.
All right. So can I have parties approach?
What did you do next?
I get in the car and then I told my partner once the
Objecting,
light
hearsay
turned green.
What he's saying.
Yes, Your Honor, but it's still he's relaying his out-of-court statement.
All right. That objection will be overruled.
You can answer the question.
I said once the light turns green to make a right.
Court will note for the record that that answer was previously stated.
What did you notice about a vehicle behind you?
Well, I had looked back and I saw a passenger. That's what I saw. And then there was a little kind of like scruffle, like if he was fighting with somebody in the back seat.
So somebody, okay, so there's a struggle.
Yes.
And let's just break that down. Did you turn around and look in a mirror? How did you look to the car behind you?
Turned around and looked.
So if were you in the vehicle or were you outside your vehicle when you looked?
No, I'm going to object to leading. He can just
ask him in a more direct way how he approached the invitation of that document unless he's laid a foundation for past recollection refreshed.
I don't know if that's what he's doing because I don't know what the document is. So, state your.
Yes, not the passenger. So that's where we got confused.
That's my bad. I apologize. So question, and that helped clear it up there.
Yes.
When you looked to the back and you looked at this vehicle behind, the front seat passenger, describe that individual to the jury.
He was African American.
And is this the individual that you stated determined his age possibly to be?
Well, he looked real young. I would say in his 20s.
You can ask an answer.
Overruled.
Refresh your memory. You can refresh your memory, okay?
Okay.
That's your statement that you gave. And again, is that the statement you gave back in 2017, April 23rd?
Yes.
There was a driver of the vehicle behind you, was there not?
Objection, lady.
Overruled.
I'll
Yes.
rephrase the question. Was anybody driving the vehicle behind you?
Yes.
And so there was a driver of that vehicle, is that correct?
Yes.
And can you describe to the jury that driver?
Female. She looked very young, blonde hair.
And I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, but did you say the color of hair?
Blonde.
Blonde. Thank you. You said that there, in previous testimony, you said there was some type of scuffle. And can you tell me who could you see participating in that scuffle?
The passenger.
And that is the black or African American man that you said was in the front passenger seat?
Yes.
What did you see that individual doing?
Fighting with somebody in the back seat.
Back seat.
Yes.
Now you named the two occupants in the front. Can you describe to the jury any occupants that were in the back seat of that vehicle?
I just know there was somebody else in the back seat. I didn't really get a description of that person.
Okay. And you see this scuffle going on. Do you see anything else happening?
Yes. I believe the person he was fighting with did exit the vehicle. He was yelling for help.
Person that he was fighting with exit the vehicle yelling for help.
Yes.
And did you at that time see what that individual was yelling for help? What did he do?
He was asking for help, yelling for help, and then proceeded to jump on the hood of the car.
And now this is all behind you, right?
Yes.
So as you told the jury, you're turned around and looking this way through the window, and you're watching all of it behind you at the stoplight.
Yes.
And
He's wild for sitting. I'm eating the light, bro. I'm not risking my car getting slammed in the back by these people. Nah, I'm taking that turn.
after the individual jumps on the hood, well, let me ask you: do you remember if he jumped on the hood like standing, or was he on all four, like on his hands and knees? Can you describe to the jury if you remember?
He was on all fours.
On all fours.
Yes.
And at any time, did the light? What happened? Did the light ever turn green? What did I guess Ernest was driving the vehicle. What did he do?
He went right.
And so you're saying that from this, did you ever see that vehicle again?
Yes, after it had, yes.
Where did you see that vehicle at? And this is a 2025 rendition, so it has some awnings here that weren't there before. But did you see it come out of this parking lot?
Yes.
And where did it go?
It went, was straight, so it went left, going
right.
past, yes.
And then where did it go from there? Do you recall?
It went by whatever store was right there, and then it just left.
Just left.
And
Okay.
just left.
And so you're in this parking lot. When you're in this parking lot, and did that bring your attention to this area by Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
And that's where you just stated that you saw that black vehicle drive through the parking lot.
Yes.
And if I can go back to the actual
Case is still developing as we speak. They're still on live stream. They're actually live right now for those that want to see more information about what actually happened that day. This is just looking terrifying. It looks like a lot of dumb decisions were made that day, and it's just crazy to know that they did this in a mall. It sounds like a popular mall where a lot of people are at, Chick-fil-A, all this. So it's just crazy to me on how, bro, before I shoot homie off the car and I know he don't got a weapon, me and everybody's getting out of the car and dragging him off or something. Like, I'm just thinking of anything possible before having to pop him off in bright daylight. It's just crazy to me knowing that there's eyewitness everywhere. This is just insane to me, guys. Sub up to the channel. The more information that keeps coming from this, the more we will be updating you guys. Okay, man, waste of talent, waste of you. Only 16 years old to be doing stuff like this. It's like you just started your life, brother. You just started your life. Channel guys, comment down below. This is sick. This is really sick. I think when it gets to this point, there might be some mental health involved for Tay-K if there's any of this is. Sub up, please share your thoughts down below.